Hey guys, this is Miss Burnett again. I want to share with you another video. I thought that something was important was vocabulary. Okay. Everyone's vocabulary is different. It's not the same for everyone, but we all need to expand our vocabulary, whether we use the words daily or not. We need to expand our vocabulary, learn new words, figure out how to know what a word means if we don't know what it means. And usually in text with reading, we can look at the words around it, sentences around it, and figure out a close meaning for the vocabulary word. And what I want to do is use the packet that I hope that you came to pick up, the very last one that you're getting, the one that has your report card inside of it. If you'll turn to page 6, I want to go over some things there and then go on to the vocabulary that starts on page 7. Okay, so if you have that, go ahead and look through that, and I will be reading those with you together and also share my screen with you so that in case you don't have it, you can look here and do this along with me, okay? Well, give me just a second. I'm going to try to figure that out. Okay. If you would, go to page number 6. This is where I'm going to go to as well. I want us to start there, something we haven't used as much. Well, give me just one second to get there. Somehow it's not pulling up for me. There we go. All right, so if I scroll down, get some terms and definitions, all of which will be very necessary to go over and remember. If you will go to page 6, it says text annotations. It says use text annotations to help you read actively and remember key ideas. Readers make note or highlight important details while they are reading. Yes, they do. I do that, okay? I usually read things twice. We don't always have time to read things twice. But if you do, please do that, okay? Text annotations just means to write on it, whether it's on the Chromebook or your iPad or something like that at home, or on pencil and piece of paper, which I like best, is to annotate the text with some things, okay? So however you're reading it, use your tools you have and annotate as you read, okay? It doesn't have to be anything great. It doesn't have to be nice and neat, but they give you some ideas here of what you could use, okay? First thing it says is important information. It's something like a wow, okay? You can put an exclamation mark there. That would be something good to use. Let's go back up here. Information that's confusing or makes you question, put a question mark there, okay? Probably won't be much, but if you put a little question mark or a certain color like yellow highlighter, you'll know to go back and look at that, especially if a question goes right back to there and hey, I did not understand that. So make sure and go back to your question mark. Parts of the passage you like, whether it's something funny or gross or just entertaining to you, put a heart. Maybe your favorite highlighter color out of the ones that you have, put a green for this you like and something you would remember the passage. Circle unknown words, okay, or maybe just underline them if you have highlighter to use. You go back there. You can check out footnotes later or check out the surrounding sentences in case you're reading for the first time just because. It says use a star to mark the main idea of the passage. Okay, it almost always asks for the main idea, so that's very important with the star. E for mark any evidence you find to support your main idea. Pretty much nowadays, whenever we're reading, you have to have evidence every single time. You know that, right? So save yourself some time, mark it with an E or a different color highlighter, so right there's not evidence, and you save yourself some time later. It says has a plus or minus, what you agree with or disagree with. We always have an argumentative passages along the way, and things you agree with, mark it with the positive, and a negative for the things that you disagree with, because remember, there's always a counterclaim. It's not always just what we agree with, okay? Our counterclaim has to show the other side. And then we go back with our rebuttal again, so that kind of helps us out when we're doing argumentative text, okay? So colors, highlighters, these marks here will be very useful whenever you read it the first time or second time through. All right, let's scroll on down to page 7. And this is 8th grade vocabulary practice items. Some of these things you might have heard through before. We're going to read a few of them together and just practice. Okay, and then you can do the rest of them on your own. It says to read the sentences for number 1. The road from the post office came directly by our door, crossed the farmyard, and curved round this little pond, beyond which it began to climb the gentle swell of unbroken prairie to the west. There, along the western skyline, it skirted a great cornfield, much larger than any field I had ever seen. All right, it says, which meaning of skirted is used in the sentence? Okay, and this is very important too, because maybe you know what skirted means already. Okay, and that's great, but sometimes things have multiple meanings, so don't just assume that you know what skirted means and don't read the sentences. Okay, always take time. There's not much there, so always read the sentences. All right, it says, missed by a narrow margin, went around rather than across, bordered or formed an edge of, or avoided because of unpleasantness. On this one here, we go back to the sentence where it uses it. It says, there along the western skyline, it skirted a great cornfield, much larger than any cornfield I had ever seen. Okay, it skirted. They're talking about the road. If we look there, did it miss it? No, I don't think it missed it, so we can take out A. Did it go around it rather than across it? Did it border it or form an edge? Or did it avoid it? I definitely don't think it avoided it, so we could take out D as well. That leaves us with B and C. Did it go around or did it border it? Okay, it says along the western skyline, it skirted a great cornfield. It went around the great cornfield. Okay, according to what state you're in, a cornfield would be really, really large. Y'all probably have seen some of those before. So if it skirted it, it went around it. So the answer to number 1 is B. We'll scroll on down and do number 2. It says north of the house, inside the plowed fire breaks, grew a thick-set strip of box elder trees, low and bushy, their leaves already turning yellow. This hedge was nearly a quarter of a mile long, but I had to look very hard to see it at all. The little trees were insignificant against the grass. It seemed as if the grass were about to run over them and over the plum patch behind the sod chicken house. All right, so let's talk about a house and some bushes and trees and the hedge and the thicket and things like that. And it asks us, what's the meaning of the word insignificant? All right, so that one has a prefix on it. You might already know what the word significant means. Knowing your prefix definition is very helpful on this one. Okay, we know that the word in means not what. And so we look at all our answer choices and they all start with un. Un also means not. Means not what. Now let's look back at the passage there. It says that little trees were insignificant against the grass. All right, what did it say about that grass? It says the hedge was nearly a quarter of a mile long. But I had to look very hard to see, a quarter of a mile is pretty long. Okay, for those of you who run cross country and things like that, doesn't seem like too much, but of just how much hedge it was, that would be a lot. Most of our houses don't have that. And then it said the little trees were insignificant against the grass. All right, it says it seems the grass were about to run over them. If you run over something insignificant, like a rock in the road, or just some sand or something like that in the road, if you run over that, that's probably very insignificant, unless you run over a boulder or something like that. It said it was insignificant. Does that mean not important, not noticeable, not reachable, or not satisfactory? And satisfactory means good enough. All right, the little trees, what were they? They were not important. No, they were not. I'm sorry. They were not noticeable. You couldn't see It talked about how the hedge was just so long, quarter of a mile long, that you couldn't see it. Okay, it was not noticeable, just like the rocks you run over if you're on your four-wheeler or driving down the road. Kind of unnoticeable, right? It's just not where you can see it. This one's pretty short, so I hope that maybe we have some prior knowledge whenever we get there. It says float off into one would float off into them, like the tawny hawks which sailed over our heads, making slow shadows on the grass. Which word is similar in connotation to sailed, as it is used in a sentence? Okay. We need to look through our word choices first, I would say. This one has A, fluttered, B, glided, C is passed, or D says flapped. Let's look back in the sentences there. It says, like the tawny hawks which sailed over our head, making slow shadows on the grass. Slow shadows. Okay, that's important. And we didn't think about it. What else would be slow shadows on the grass? And it said tawny hawks. So if it's going to be slow, did it flutter? When I think of fluttered, I usually think about hummingbird. That fluttered its wings, and that to me is pretty fast, so I wouldn't pick A. B, it glided. If something glides, like a paper airplane that you've flown, that goes pretty slow. I agree with that one. If it passed, yeah, true. I can pass by someone sort of slowly, but then again, I can pass by someone, zoom by them on the 4 lane. That'd be pretty fast. So I don't know if I could choose that one or not. And then I have flapped. Well, yes, for the word flap too. I can flap my hands, or my arms slowly, which would make me glide or sail over something. But I also could flap them pretty fast too. Like tiny birds that are coming by. They're pretty fast. So I think the only one that has a similar connotation to sail would be B, which would be glided, because I don't think you can glide in a fast motion. Okay, so I think again we would need to choose B for number 3. All right, let's roll on down and do number 4. This one, a farmer tore out the sod and then walked away, leaving the land naked. However, that barren patch posed a threat to neighbors. It could not revert to grass because the roots were gone. It was empty, dead, transient. Okay, talk about a sod. If you've ever had to lay sod in your yard, you know that somebody had to cut it out of their land and give it to you. It does leave the land naked. You can kind of see where they take it up, and there's that barren patch. And it says their threat to neighbors was that there weren't any roots. They were gone. It was empty, dead, transient. So it says, what is the meaning of revert? It could not revert to grass. It couldn't what to grass? Let's see what we could put in place of it. It says it couldn't abandon to grass. It couldn't destroy to grass. It couldn't go back to grass. It couldn't take the place of grass. And this one, I thought it was good to put these words in place of it because it really helped us to find a good word that would be possible to put there. It could not abandon to grass. Well, that just doesn't even sound right. It couldn't destroy to grass. Well, it's already gone. There's nothing to destroy anymore. So not A, not B. So it says it could not go back to grass or couldn't take the place of grass. Yeah, it's asking for it to go back, to revert back to grass again. They're saying it can't. The roots are gone. Sometimes when there's roots there, there's a possibility that something can come back. But on this case, it cannot go back. So number 4, the answer was C. All right. After this, it has some more pages of vocabulary. I would love for you to try some of these. They're not too hard. It wouldn't, in your free time, you absolutely have, nothing else to do, but you're inside, work on some of this, okay? There's lots of good information in there. Like I said, vocabulary words at the beginning. Words you already know because we learned them this year in the 8th grade, okay? But they're not going to go away. You'll still need them next year for 9th grade. So have a good summer. And I will see some of you again.